Come on in. The lair doesn't close. We're back here today in our Shield database with File 3, Mr. Green Door himself, Bruce Banner, and of course, the Immortal Hulk. Now, putting my bias out there, the Hulk is, if not maybe a few honorable mentions, but my favorite hero slash character, just in general. So, gonna lay my bias out there. But like everybody else that got to play him in the alpha and the beta, can agree that our man could use some buffs. He was missing a passive, or it was less known. We'll get into that in the breakdown here in a second. But the good news is those buffs slash reworks are indeed coming, as we've been hinted at, approaching the December 6th release date. So, what we're going to do in typical fashion, we're going to break down his abilities, and give some tips, tricks, general strategies for those starting out, hopping into the game, or that just want to know how this character works. And then we're going to have the gameplay at the end, showcasing those strats, relatively, that we spoke about. As you've heard me say with all of the characters, and I'm probably going to say it on every video, I'm having fun with this character because I'm having fun with all the characters. Making amazing kits is one thing that NetEase is knocking out of the park, for sure, for sure. So the Hulk is Vanguard, which is Marvel Rivals classification for a tank, high health, naturally, front of the line, meant to take on the other enemy's front line, but like our buddy Venom from S.H.I.E.L.D. File 2, he falls into a special subcategory known as dive tanks, meaning their real strength comes from straight up either crashing through or skipping completely over the enemy's front line and getting into the middle of their team, if not preferably the back line. So, with that said, we're gonna pull this file and see what our boy has for us. Alright, starting off with Hulk's primary. He's the strongest there is, so as you would guess, he punches things. Not really a lot to say on this one, pretty self-explanatory. For as big as the Hulk is, he doesn't have the world's most range, probably mostly because he's throwing hooks. So you have to be particularly close. You can't probably get too much further than you see here in the little tutorial vid playing. You can hit people that are within jumping distance, so as long as you're this close and they're jumping, or you're jumping, you'll still be able to hit them. As you can see, the hit marker doesn't have to be directly on target, but you do have to be close enough, so that's something you can kind of use to your advantage, especially with them throwing hooks. But other than that, this is pretty self-explanatory. Punch stance, about a quarter damage. Up next, we have Hulk's ultimate ability, Hulk-S.H.I.E.L.D, as you would have guessed. Here he transforms into the famous World Breaker form, or Monster Hulk as the game has dubbed it, giving him a boost to his damage and, more importantly, health, coming in just under 1600 HP, giving him kind of some of the most health that you can gain in the game outside of certain heroes like debatably Venom. His moves stay the same, again with the exception of additional damage, except for his radioactive lockdown ability, which we'll get to here in a second. It gains a little bit of DOT, damage over time, in addition to locking you down and completely removing you from the game. But other than that, just making him an all-out force on the field more than he already is. It's timed, or if your health gets decreased to 0, you transform back into regular Hulk. I actually don't have the clip of it here, but once you are transformed into your World Breaker / Monster Hulk form, pressing the ultimate ability again while you're roughly this close will grab the enemy in front of you and give them a little bit of that Loki treatment, slam them around a little bit. Does really decent damage. If they pretty much have lost a quarter of their health, they'll probably die from it. So the idea here is you're going to want to use this ultimate when either you're about to die, or preferably once you've jumped into the middle of the enemy team or into their back line and cause havoc. And I do mean havoc, because you will become the immediate source of everyone's ire, to try and get you a couple of his attacks off, maybe a radioactive lockdown, a few gamma bursts, and then right before you either are going to lose all your health or right before your ultimate is going to run out, you want to get close to somebody and snatch them up with by pressing the ultimate button again. Again, it'll even grab people straight out of the air. That's pretty much the strategy here. Because once you use the grab move while you're in your ultimate, it will automatically end your ultimate and turn you back into normal Hulk. So you want to pop the ultimate, get some damage off, pester the other enemy team, really break up what they got going on, get you a couple of skills off, couple punches in, and then right before either your health goes to 0 or the timer goes to 0, snatch somebody up. You'll notice because people will be trying to play keep away specifically. They won't want to be near you because they do not want to get grabbed, and there's not really a way out of it unless they use a movement ability to get out of there. So, all right, Hulk's first ability is going to be Indestructible Guard. Hulk puts up a shield around himself and any allies that are nearby. And granted, the Punisher's pretty close here. They can be a pretty decent distance away from you, and still gain the effects from this shield. Either way, he puts up a shield around him and any allies that are in the area. And this shield not only absorbs incoming damage, it feeds it as energy to Hulk's ultimate. So you put this on your whole team, you'll get a good 20 to 40, maybe 50% into your ultimate in a really good team fight. Especially you're going to be a giant target, naturally, not only being the tank, but being the Hulk. So if you're getting focused fire, it's a good idea to pop this up. Me personally, like there's a couple different ways, obviously, that you can play it. You could go into the fight with this, jump into the back line with this already around you. Me personally, I get a little bit more success engaging into a fight, dropping the health of whoever I'm trying to fight or multiple enemies, and then throwing this shield up. Especially like, for example, a lot of time you're probably going to be fighting another tank as a tank. When they've used their shield or their heals, whatever it is, their sustainability abilities, once you've seen them use that, throw this guard up. It doesn't say it here, but the shield does actually have a health value to it, meaning that when you take enough damage with the shield up, this applies, I would presume, to bleed anybody, the shield will break and disappear. So if you pop this shield and you're wondering, that doesn't seem like it lasted as long as the 2 to 4 seconds it's supposed to last, because there is a health value to it and it will break. It is strong enough, however, to block ultimates that would otherwise kill you. So Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, Magneto, etc. So that's pretty much what you're gonna want to do here. It's constantly keeping this up. It's a super good tool for when you're using your ultimate as well, when you're in Monster Hulk form, to give you even more sustainability, obviously. Hulk's second ability is going to be Radioactive Lockdown, which at first glance looks like a pretty simple stun, but there's a little bit more going on here with this move than that. So, at its base, it is a stun. You fire a projectile wherever your targeting reticle is. It's projectile based, so it can get interrupted by other things, and it's going to hit your target, an enemy, and it's going to lock them in place. Now, the downside to this is once they are locked down, that enemy can no longer take damage outside of the damage over time they take if you're in World Breaker form and you use this move, because then it gains that DOT, But outside of that, you won't be able to interact with the hero in any way. They won't be able to use any of their abilities or interact with the game in any way. The bright side, however, is that when someone is in lockdown, as in they've been hit with this move, they are counted as completely removed from this plane of existence. What does that mean? Well, that means if they are standing on an OBJ and you use this radioactive lockdown, the game counts it that they are not standing there. So whether that be they're pushing the OBJ themselves, whether that be they're standing to prevent yours, or the more domination style modes, you use this lockdown and it doesn't even count that they're standing there. So I've quite literally myself won and seen plenty of games won off of this ability for that reason, because that last little fraction of an inch that, for example, the payload needs to move, you use this ability and the payload will start strolling right along if there's not another enemy standing on it. So that is really where the real strength of this ability shines through. You want to be using this, 9 out of 10 you're going to be using it as a stun, to get in close and put your opponent in a terrible position, because now they have to stand there, wait till the stun ends, and you start punching them in the face. But you really want to try to draw out his power. You want to be trying to use this in situations where you want it to not count that that person is in the game. Additionally, someone that's locked down obviously won't gain ability, so they can't be healed. They can't gain, for example, if there's another Hulk on the field, they wouldn't gain the shield even if they were standing next to the enemy Hulk. This is the real strength of radioactive lockdown. Again, the damage over time is nice, so when you're in World Breaker form, that's something you can use to your advantage to as a damaging tool. Again, locking the opponent down and just strolling up on them. And waiting for the stun to run out, because unless they pop an instant heal, or an instant movement ability, they have to now stand there and deal with you because you're going to be breathing down their neck. So simple at face value, but a whole lot of value to be gained from this move here. Alright, our third ability is going to be Incredible Leap. This is going to be his Hulk's movement ability. You're going to hold whatever you keep binded to. And on PC, that's probably going to be spacebar for most of you, and it's going to bring up a trajectory reticle, and Hulk's going to jump along this line. If you hit an enemy that is flying, I can't off the top of my head remember if it'll work for any enemy that's just straight up in the air. It might. You'll knock that flying enemy down. It actually kind of like stuns them for a second or two. They can't really do anything. They kind of just like straight up have to hit the ground. Starting off, you're not going to probably be knocking flying enemies out of the game, which as of right now only applies to Storm and Iron Man. You're not going to be knocking flying enemies out of the sky because you're probably going to be using it on flying enemies that are actively fighting you, and they're probably just going to strafe out of the way real quick. Although it's got a decent decent sized hitbox, so you don't have to be directly on target. You'll get a few knockdowns from them being a little bit beside you. But as you get used to it, and I think I'm gonna go on a limb and say this is probably one of the things that really attributes to Hulk's 4-star difficulty rating is this move right here. Trying to figure out, eventually you will get good enough to be able to jump through a window, even though he's got a pretty big hitbox again, so that there's liable to get you killed because you thought you were going to jump through a window and it didn't happen. This move will take an extreme amount of practice. I'm going to go on a limb and say this move takes the most practice out of all the moves that Hulk has. Now, with that said, we're going to get into something that we mentioned a little bit earlier. The Hulk is, as you can see as of right now, he's currently missing he has a passive, he has a team-up ability, but he doesn't have a true passive to his own. Now, one of the things that a lot of people I don't think caught in the alpha and the beta, Hulk can actually latch on to walls. When you use Incredible Leap, if you use it directly into a wall, the Hulk will straight latch onto the wall. He won't run up and down or sideways like the Spider-Man or Rocket Raccoon or Black Panther, for example, but he can actually latch onto the wall. Here's the hoping that's not what his passive is going to be. Like everybody else, I'm hoping it's something anger / damage or healing based, but it's something that actually it doesn't say here for whatever reason, and it is something the Hulk has the ability to do, meaning you can actually Incredible Leap. So for example, that wall that you can see directly in front of him after he jumps up there, you could Incredible Leap onto that wall and then use your Incredible Leap off of that wall again. Now, will you be doing that most of the time with Hulk? No, but it is a pretty great tool that you can utilize. It makes him a little bit less committed to the jump. So for example, a lot of other characters that have maybe a movement like this, you hit the wall, you're gonna go splat and slide down the wall unless you have a character that can wall run. The Hulk, on the other hand, I believe you press the jump button again when you touch the wall. Again, you'll just latch onto the wall, and then from there you can maneuver again. So, little side tidbit. That's what I was alluding to earlier, as far as a quote-unquote hidden passive of the Hulk. For some reason, it doesn't say it here. Hopefully, in full release, it does, to let people know. So I didn't see anybody do it. I didn't even know that you could do it until messing around in the opening starting area, and I just happened to latch onto the walls. Oh, cool. Hulk can latch on the walls, which obviously makes all of the sense. But other than that, yeah, Incredibly pretty self-explanatory. This is what you're going to be using all of the time. Half charges or quarter charges to charge enough for just enough to just barely get over the enemy's front line, get into, again, the middle of their team / preferably the back line, and really get on those support's case really pester them and put them in the danger zone. This is your main ability. If anything, this is your main ability. But just don't feel too bad if you're not snatching flyers out of the sky. It's gonna feel like this move isn't good for that. It's extremely takes a whole lot of practice, hence why he's a 4-star difficulty character. Hulk's final ability is gonna be Gamma Burst. This is gonna be your secondary damaging tool. It's pretty also straightforward, pun quite literally intended. You fire off a projectile. It's got great range. It'll pretty much hit from across the map, like pretty much every projectile based attack in this game. So you're gonna be throwing this out whenever it's off cooldown, trying to get you some hits, pokes, however it is that you're utilizing it. Most specifically, enemies that are probably trying to gain distance from you, because obviously the weakness of the Hulk, he's a melee character, so the more distance that they create, the bigger of a disadvantage is that, even with your leap and the ability to kind of just pretty much still jump on top of on the back of someone's neck from any distance. But either way, you're gonna be throwing this out, trying to get you some nice damage. Let's not say nice damage. It doesn't do the world's most damage comparatively. It does about a quarter damage, like pretty much all of his other damaging abilities. Pretty much his melee. So let's say it does around the same amount of damage as his melee. Obviously, for confirming kills, somebody just manages to get away right before you finish them off with a punch or two. You're gonna use this to confirm kills, or confirm kills off of what your teammate is doing. It gets a damage boost while you're in World Breaker form. Doesn't get any additional perks other than a significant damage boost from being in Monster Hulk form. But other than that, pretty self-explanatory. It's gonna be your secondary damaging tool, mostly because it's your only other damaging tool. Outside of radioactive lockdowns, damage over time when you're in World Breaker form. So, yeah, throw this out whenever the chance arises. And really try to get you some, again, either additional damage or make someone get off of an OBJ, whatever the case may be. Again, it's not the world's most threatening attack in the game, so results may vary on this, but its cooldown is decent enough. Well, maybe that's one of the things we'll see how full release looks to see if it gets even better. But going into Hulk's passive ability is going to be Gamma Boost. This is going to be a Doctor Strange Iron Man team up ability. He's going to charge them with his natural gamma energy, which is going to boost the damage of Doctor Strange's Maelstrom of Madness and Iron Man's Armor Overdrive. So, to be honest with you, that's a little bit better for our boy Iron Man than Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is only getting that on the one attack, being the Maelstrom of Madness, whereas Iron Man gets the boost for the entire time that Armor Overdrive is a buff. So he straight up gets a buff while he's in Armor Overdrive. So you see an Iron Man on your team, picking Hulk is even better plan than you might initially guess for that reason, because he's going to gain even more of it. I mean, obviously it's nice for Doctor Strange as well, but it only applying to one Doctor Strange move versus the entirety of the time that Iron Man is in this buff means that the Iron Man on your team is going to benefit from this even more than the Doctor Strange. At least this is as it is currently. Remember, this is speaking on the alpha/beta versions of the game. This is liable to change on December 6th when the game releases, especially considering the word on the street and the word the behind the scenes is saying that Hulk got some extra stuff, extra reworks and buffs to him, which we can probably presume most of the cast from the alpha and the beta did. But this is speaking on what we got to experience and when we got to play. So as of right now, that's pretty much it. This is pretty self-explanatory passive. You don't have to do anything. The Iron Man and Doctor Strange on your team, you don't have to press any buttons. You don't gain any extra buttons or anything. It's just a straight up flat damage boost, which again Iron Man gets for the entirety of the buff, and Doctor Strange gets and uses the Maelstrom of Madness ability. So You don't have to really, no one on your team has to think about it. I think these passes are great for that reason. Obviously, usually you kind of like wish they did a little bit more. Um, for example, it'd be cool if the Hulk got something out of it, like from another, or maybe one of them, but he doesn't. And actually, I don't think any of the other heroes that has a passive like this do they gain something unironically. Actually, no, they do, because if I'm not mistaken, like Thor and Storm has something like this, along with Captain America. Um, but if I'm not mistaken, I think Storm does. I gotta double check. I think Storm does give Thor unironically a bit of a boost, but otherwise it's a one-way street. So, but the beauty of it again, it's not something that has to be set up. It's not something they have to be within a certain range. They just straight flat get this boost for being on the same team. So that part of it is super great, especially for starting out. You can get a pretty strong team comp going with Iron Man, Hulk, and Doctor Strange for that exact reason. Now, what does all this mean in the grand scheme of things? The suggested combo. Well, they've got it pretty accurate here. You're going to be using your leap ability to continually reposition yourself into what is best for you. So again, him being a dive tank, you're going to just straight up skip past whoever they've got in the front a lot of the time. Sometimes it's in your team's best interest to, you have to actually deal with the front line, because skipping past them sometimes means that your team then has to deal with most likely 2 tanks, assuming that teams are thoroughly balanced. But other than that, yes, you're going to be diving into the middle, if not preferably the back line. Me personally, I specifically usually like to charge my leap all the way to dive onto a support, a Luna that's just not really thinking that I'm about to jump this whole distance, because he does cover that distance extremely quickly with that leap. So you're going to want to pick your targets off, well, again, assuming that you're not just diving at the front line of the enemy team. You're going to want to pick a target. You're going to want to get your leap charged up enough so where that you can get right on top of that person. So even if they have a movement ability, they've got to hold at least a little bit of damage by the time they press that button. They're just going to want to just dive on top of their head. Again, preferably your first target should be the healers, the squishies. They've only got 200, 250 health. Hulk takes that health away pretty quickly. 3 to 4 of his punches will have them below 50% health, and now they either require the assistance of another damage dealer. If you're lucky, a lot of the time what happens is the other healer has to stop doing what they're doing to keep that healer alive while you're breathing down their neck. So you, at the minimum, take the attention of 2 of the enemy team's healers away from doing what their normal healing duties. They have to deal with you, or you gain the attention of one of their damage dealers. If not, one of their tanks has to turn around and now deal with you because you're in the middle / the back line, and they're have the best chance of going up against the Hulk. So pick your target, incredible leap onto them. They're not going to be standing perfectly next to each other like this. They're usually going to be front line, middle, back line with the supports. Pick your target, hop on them with the leap. Once you've got some damage, once you've got some decent damage on you, your health's starting to go down, pop your indestructible guard, block not only damage, but get you even more energy towards your ultimate. If you haven't already, if you haven't already, use your gamma projectile. While you're mid-combo, like I said, you pretty much want to always be throwing out that projectile, whether they're directly in front of you, whether they're running away a bit, which they will be. You want to be always throwing that out, and pretty much just comboing those 2. Throwing out your lockdown. There's nothing to be lost from a lockdown. While you're in regular Hulk form, obviously it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it completely stops that person from being able to do anything. They can't receive heals, they can't receive buffs, they can't interact with the game in any particular way at all. So trying to get off your lockdowns, if you're like me, you'll probably miss the lockdowns. The bright side, you'll probably miss lockdowns more than you miss the bursts, if it's any consolation. But either way, throwing out those projectiles, just trying to get as many hits as possible. When you do hit somebody with a lockdown and you want to just kind of like walk up on them, I position myself in between them and either their team or their best escape route, so that when they come back from the stun, they have no choice but to deal with you or try their damnedest to get away to get enough of a distance to actually do something. And then obviously when available, you pop your ultimate. Since it's going to give you all of your health into monster mode, into world breaker form. A lot of me personally, I try to use it when I'm lower on health, or again to engage. So pop your ult, pick your target, leap onto that, let's say it's a Luna Snow, leap onto that healer with your ult. Now most of the time the entire team is going to turn around and have to deal with it because World Breaker is here, and that's something that has to be dealt with post haste. And then most importantly, and I cannot stress this enough, this is further what merits him a 4-star difficulty character. You have to know when to disengage. There is almost no skill more important in this game, not just with the Hulk, but in general, than knowing when and how to disengage. So in the case of the Hulk, jump in on your target, do your damage, do your thing, and then you get out of there. You can chase the kill, confirm the kill if it's truly plausible. This is again something that's going to be difficult, and you probably struggle with starting out, knowing when. Man, I should have broke off there. I really thought I could get that guy. I needed 1 more second for my gamma burst projectile to come back up, and I would have had that kill. But you have to know when to disengage. So you're going to. This is key to playing dive tanks. Dive in, get the damage on your target. One thing I didn't go over during the Incredible Leap, you actually can charge it while you're attacking. So while you're doing absolutely any other action with the Hulk, you can also charge your Incredible Leap. You can have it charging in the background while you're punching, while you're throwing Gamma Burst, while you're putting shields on yourself and your allies, while you're doing anything, your jump can be charged, and you can straight up hold it. So that when the sticky situation inevitably falls into your lap, you can get out of there quickly. And then again, combined with the knowledge of, even if that means you jump as vertically up, high vertically as you can into a wall, and then latch onto that wall and then quickly jump from that wall. But whatever the case may be, disengaging, learning how to maneuver this admittedly giant character while flying through the air to get out of harm's way. Something you're going to see in the gameplay here in just a second. Now, with that said, that concludes our ability breakdown. If you made it this far in the video, feel free to drop a comment. Let me know if you have any questions or any things that you want to know or see. With that said, I appreciate you all. Make sure you take care of yourself. Make sure you keep your head up. It's going to be alright. It's going to be okay. Whatever you're going through, I hope that you get through it, and that it is a problem of the past, and if not today, that it will be. Until the next time, right here at the Lair.
Little orbs. Let's see what other news I got for y'all. We got a new stage leaked over, Comic-Con is running right now, so no more codes. The PlayStation was in the Discord right now. You got a chance at 7 o'clock today, bro,
3,
for your Twitch
2,
claim.
1. Only one team wins this. Try to make
Play
it
some more
yours.
Hulk. Let's throw some hands.
Being the Hulk isn't so bad.
They're giving out codes today too. Y'all have to look on the Twitch thing. I ain't looking right now to see when the drop ends. Might be today, but I also feel like they'll probably extend it. After this match, I'll check in the Discord real quick and see if there's been any updates.
Right behind you. Now I got you.
Stay right there.
They've come from behind. But you can still
Bink,
turn
bink,
this
bink.
around.
So yep, you get kills, you pick up the little orbs.
Try to make it last.
Bink, bink, bink. Punching that man in his cloak. Levitate that.
Behind you, my friend. My power grows. I'm opening a portal.
I guess I called it team deathmatch. Technically, it's kill confirmed.
Shortcut.
Type shit.
So good.
You can't run from me, girl.
But you can still turn this around.
He can't save you either in the real world. Good shit, Venom.
They've come from behind, but you can still turn this around. Someone's on a winning streak, totally
That
cosmic.
man dropped all the orbs. Oh, somebody on me. They fucking rotated. They was bad.
You're in the lead now. Try to make it last. Halfway to victory.
Count on me.
These matches cool too because they go way faster too. There ain't no way in hell I missed. Bink, pink, pink, pinks. Bro, there's nothing more terrifying than getting hit with that Hulk stun. Because I'm coming for you, and you know it. And it's like, fuck. This man's just walking down. Yes.
Totally cosmic.
Bink, 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 bink. Shoot that man in his Asgardian steel.
Let's try this again.
Tremble before blast!
Only 60 seconds left.
I was stuck and shit. Let me eat those, girl. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Come here. Come here. Puny God. Puny God. Hulk is strongest there is. I thought they told you. Come here, little baby shark. Got my ass. You got your ass too? Oh, they won't just let you. Sometimes they won't just let you spit. Certain stages, it looks like, because he definitely should have been able to spit us off the side of the stage, and it didn't. It let us bounce. You thought you was safe? No, girl. We punching people in their cloaks.
We've got a winner.
Especially for this mode right here. Hulk needs buffs, but this is Hulk's mode. Ain't none of that OBJ shit. We throwing hands. Hell yeah. We throwing hands. None of that large hands, extra beef, free delivery too. All of that and more.